Hello everyone, my name is Nature Angel. If you are new, welcome to my channel, and if you are returning, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be on mental health in students, and I really want to talk about this because especially I feel like there's always going to be mental health problems coming up, especially as a school psychologist. We encounter this all the time, but my own personal opinion, I feel like after COVID, there was a lot more stuff that we have to worry about and things that were kind of just not a thing until COVID happened, and we are still seeing the effects of that today. So if you are interested in seeing how we can help students that are experiencing mental health issues and what we should do as school psychologists, then keep watching. So the first thing that I want to mention is there are so many different categories that we help students with, but I'm just going to mention a few today. For right now, I'm going to mention 4. So the first 2 is ADHD and autism. So I see this a lot in the students that I work with, and we have the categories for autism spectrum disorder, and then we also have other health impairment, and that encompasses a whole bunch of stuff, but one of the things in there is for ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So we can make an IEP plan, and an IEP plan is an individualized education plan for students that may have those disabilities. And at least for how we do it, you don't need an outside diagnosis, but it does help a lot because that gives more evidence for why we are going to give the kid special education services. Now, we also encounter kids that may have anxiety and depression, and personally, in my experience, if anything, when we get children that are experiencing anxiety and depression, they may be able to get a 504 plan, which is not changing the education. It's not giving them specialized instruction, but it is kind of giving them accommodations and things like that. So for example, if the kid is depressed, we might let them speak with a guidance counselor, psychologist, social worker, a certain amount of times a week, and maybe they have like a pass that they can use so that they can go and see them if they really need to. And then we'll also try to help them get services outside of school, but that's usually something that the social worker would do and would try to help the parents put in place. So I'm just doing this to kind of set up for some of the mental health issues that we may be seeing in the schools. There are many, but these are the main ones that I see, and this is how we usually go about treating them. Now, an important thing is to intervene early. If you suspect a child is experiencing any of the things that I mentioned or anything else, you want to try to intervene early. If it's impacting their performance, their educational performance, and how they are performing in school, you may want to bring it up, because then as a team, we can address it early. And who are you bringing this up to? That is the mental health team. So the people in the schools that are responsible for putting an IEP in place or responsible for making the 504 plan. And like some of my other videos, I have mentioned how that works, how the whole process works. I think even my last video, I mentioned that basically you are intervening early by bringing them forward to the team with the data that you have to see if we need to do something to help them do better in school. Do they need to be tested? Do we want to do some interventions? But it's important to intervene early so that if we do need any of that stuff, we can put it in place. Of course, if there is an emergency, like a suicide risk for a student that is depressed, we are not going to wait and bring it forward to the team. You are going to tell someone immediately so that we can do a suicide assessment on that student. You might be wondering, what should I look for if I want to intervene early? So some of the things that you should look for could be behavioral changes. maybe just how they're acting different than they usually do. They might seem more down or sleepy. So any type of behavioral change. Also performance in school, in class. So maybe they were doing really well and suddenly they're starting to perform poor on tests, or maybe they're just missing class, not coming in. You might notice some social changes. Do they have friends? Are they still talking to friends that they had before? Do they seem isolated? Do they seem like they need a buddy or a support system? That could be something to look out for. Also, some somatic changes. So does the student seem to always have a headache or a stomach ache? They're always trying to go to the nurse because maybe they actually are sick and there's an underlying issue going on. But it could also be anxiety related. So that stomach ache they're having is related to their anxiety and how they feel in class and how they just don't want to be there, and their body is reacting in this way and it makes it seem like they have a stomach ache. So those are some changes to look out for when you're wondering what is a possible symptom of how the student's mental health is. Once you have gathered this information, what do you do with it? If you notice there's behavioral changes, if you notice that maybe they don't have any friends and they just seem to feel unwell most of the time, well, what do you do? Well, you want to make sure you document first. Document all this stuff on the different days where it happened, in what classes. Document as much as you can so that you can build a case. Again, if you feel that you have a strong enough case, you might want to present it to the intervention team to see if there's anything that can be done to put interventions in place so that we can possibly help the student. In the meantime, regardless of if there are interventions put in place and everything, make sure that the student feels comfortable, feels safe, has a person they could go to, like a trusted adult. Whenever possible, incorporate the parents. So if you are worried about their well-being and their mental health, definitely try to give the parents a call home and, you know, see if they have any outside services, see if there's anything that can be done to help the student. And if you're wondering who is the person that is going to be the one doing this, it could be anyone in the school. If it's a teacher that's noticing the students changing, then the teacher can try to present it for the intervention team. If it's a parent that's noticing these changes in their kid and they want changes to be done in the school, they can present it to the team. If I saw something as a school psychologist, I can. If a social worker, whoever it is, if they are someone working closely with the kid and they are working in the school, or like I said, they're a parent or a guardian, they can present it to try to help the student. In the end though, definitely be kind to yourself. Try to do your best by noticing these changes that you may see in your students and any mental health concerns, but also make sure you know that there is only so much you can do and that you are doing the best that you can do. We cannot do everything. And if you think that you can, you're going to burn yourself out and you're going to feel sort of hopeless and helpless. And that is not what we want, because you are doing a phenomenal job. If you are a school psychologist, we want to help all the kids, right? But I know that's not possible, but we will be darn sure to make sure we are doing our best to help the students that we can when we can with the resources that we have. So just make sure that you're taking care of yourself too, and just make sure that you're not being too hard on yourself, because we need you here and we don't need you to stress and burn out, because the kids also need you and they need your help, and you're doing a great job. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't all over the place. I really tried to make it related to mental health concerns that we may see in the school, and how mental health concerns have basically been more prominent, at least where I've been working, as time goes on. And sometimes it's hard to see and sometimes it's easier to see, but these are definitely tips I feel like us working in the school can use to try our best to help students if it seems like they're okay and they're starting to go down a path where they might need some interventions, or they might need some extra outside help, or even something that we can help with. But I think it's very important that we know what we're looking for. I really hope that you enjoyed this. The next video will most likely be on building resilience, and I think this works really well with this particular video that you're watching right now, because if the kids are experiencing mental health concerns, especially if it's like depression or anxiety related, something that can help in the long run is resilience, and building resilience in students and finding ways to make them resilient to things that they have experienced or things that they may experience in the future. So I think the next video that I'm going to do is going to coincide really well with this one. So I really hope that you enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope it wasn't confusing. And if you have any recommendations or any questions about anything I said, please leave that down below. I will answer as quickly as I can. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you next time, okay? Bye, guys.